Okay, we are going to be working on perspective. We're going to do 1 point and 2 point. Now, 1 point perspective is where you are going to pick a single point, makes sense, from which all of your perspective is going to come from. In this case, we're going to do a street and buildings on either side. So what I want to do here is I'm going to make this line here and this line here. That's going to be the top of the building. Using a single point, always use, unless what you're drawing is, got weird angles to it, always use vertical lines. This building we're going to make a little closer to us, so we make this angle wider. And then still straight up and down. Now, say this is a series of garages. First of all, one thing you want to do is you want to pick the length of your building. Okay? These are straight horizontal this way. And pick the length of your building. Okay. Now, say there's a bunch of garages. This is like maybe a bus barn or something. You take your point, you run it high because you're looking at garages, and those are going to go to the ground, so you still maintain this bottom line, and you do horizontal lines to represent barns. Now I'm just doing this rough, and the farther you go down, the narrower these have to become because they're further away. Okay. Now also, because they just don't run straight out into the street, they're big vehicles, you add another line which gives them their pull-off driveways, and these, like the others, this building, say it's going to have doors about halfway, lead about halfway up, just regular people doors. You use your perspective point here, and you're going to put a doorway there, and maybe one here, and one at the end. Okay. Now once again, this is also not part of the street. So you do that. These come out. Maybe it's a ditch. Okay. And you have a ditch here, and you have another walkway coming out for those. Your road, running down the middle, is where you might put dashes or dots or lines. If you have, say, windows up here, you use your perspective line. You follow everything into your perspective line. If I was going to use a ruler, some people would use a ruler, and in many cases I would. You go ahead and you put your windows up here. Now over here, that you face your building, you treat your windows square straight on. Likewise with your doors. Your handle there. This, of course, is just a rough. Say there's an access door here. You just do that. These would be roughly the same size based upon where you're at. Now, when you're done with this, and you don't, you want to finish your buildings up or something, put more details, what you do is you get rid of your guidelines here. Maybe your street comes to an end there and crosses behind the buildings. And you want to put a stop sign right there, And that is 1 point perspective. 2 point perspective is where you pick 2 points, where you're standing at the corner of a building and looking. You draw the height of your building in the middle, like this. Your one perspective goes this way. Your other perspective comes from here. Say your building is longer than it is wide. Okay, there's the length, but you only want it to be this wide. Okay. Same thing as before. Pick the height of doors. And then you put in your doors. Once again, all other angles, they are straight up and down. Your 3 doors, and you put in, from your perspective point, your windows. Here, you can, all your perspective points still has to come in here. They're not horizontally even. All things come from one perspective point or another. So your windows here would be here like this and there like that. Whereas your doors, because your doors are the same height, they have to meet at the same spot here in the corner. But from this perspective, so you have your door here, and maybe a second one there, just right there at the corner. And once again, when you're done drawing your basic building, you eliminate your guidelines, and you have your building. So this up here is 1 point, and this here is 2. Whoops. 2 point. And there you have it. 1 and 2 point perspective.